How much do photographers make? This is a pretty loaded question, but let's jump right into it and see on average how much photographers make in the United States. This is Nicole Glass, and before I get into the numbers, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you stay up to date when I post new videos related to photography. Okay, so a lot of people these days are asking themselves, can I make a full-time living from photography alone? If you do a quick Google search to see how much photographers make, you're not going to find a lot of satisfying answers. And that's because the answer completely depends on where you live, what type of photography you do, whether you're a freelancer or an employee, how much experience you have, and how much you personally decide to charge. So how much can you make as a self-employed photographer? Well, that's completely up to you. With that being said, let's look at some of the national averages for the job photographer. According to Salary.com, the average photographer in the United States makes $64,162 as of June 27, 2019. The range typically falls between $51,020 and $72,552 per year. Sounds great and all, but is this really true? Well, according to ZipRecruiter.com, the average professional photographer makes $39,143 per year. Now that's a significantly lower number than the other number that we just saw. And according to Glassdoor.com, which a lot of people use to get information about salaries, the average professional photographer makes $35,726 per year. I really question where they get these numbers from, because this number is even lower. So we just got three completely different numbers from three completely different sites, and now we're more confused than ever, and we don't have an answer. So let's look at some job openings right now that are posted in the United States, and I found these on Indeed.com, and let's see what people are offering photographers to work for them. All right, so opening up some of these job postings, let's look at the first one. Automotive photographer and merchandising specialist at Redline Automotive Merchandising LLC in Columbia, Maryland. The range is $35,000 to $50,000 a year. That's definitely a huge range, but honestly, for this area, which is an expensive area, this is not a great salary. This is actually kind of like an entry-level salary. This one, photographer and videographer at Plunder Design in Utah. $40,000 to $60,000 a year. Now, I don't really know what the cost of living is in Utah. It's probably lower than the Washington, D.C. area, but again, this is a pretty wide range. $40,000 is definitely on the low end. $60,000 is, it's all right. It's okay, I guess. But you have to be a photographer and a videographer, so that's asking for a lot, because some people specialize in one or the other, but not in both. Next one, photographer and cinema photographer in San Diego, California, $38,000 to $60,000 a year. This is also a pretty similar range to the last one we just looked at, but this job posting definitely requires the photographer to bring all of his own gear. So have a professional grade DSLR, have, a wide angle lens, video capable of 4K, all of that. So again, you have to have that gear already. If you don't, it seems like you would have to buy a lot of gear before you're even eligible to apply to this position. And it also requires you to already have a drone and a drone pilot's license. So yeah, this job is also asking a lot for, a relatively low pay grade. Next, we see product photographer, Anywhere Inc. in Chatsworth, California. I don't know where that is. $40,000 to $50,000 a year. And again, they want this person to be able to do photo and video, but you don't have to have that much experience to be eligible. It says 1 year of experience required, so that's not that much. Next is photographer for babies, toddlers, and families at Life 365 Portraits in Chandler, Arizona. This position pays $500 to $650 a week and requires working a 5-day week and photographing 7 clients a day in their own homes. So $500 a week comes out to about $2,000 a month, and after taxes, you're left with a lot less of that. That would give you a salary of like what, $24,000 a year before taxes, after taxes, take a couple thousand off of that. Yeah, this is pretty low. And it would be photographing 7 clients a day in their own homes. Now, if you worked for yourself and you had 7 clients a day in their own homes and you were charging, several $100s to each of those clients, you could easily turn this into a 6-figure job. So yeah, this job posting is not something I would apply to. Next is staff photographer at a company in Alexandria, Virginia. The pay is $20 to $22 an hour. There's not a lot of information about this job, so you don't actually know, are you getting paid only when you're on location somewhere, or are you also getting paid for all the time you spent editing? That's unclear, so it's kind of hard to see how good or bad this job is. And the next one, real estate photographer in Dickinson, North Dakota. $150 a day. It doesn't say if this is a full-time job, but $150 a day. Let's say you do work full-time, so that means you work about 20 days a month. That would be about $3,000 a month before taxes, which would be about $36,000 a year before taxes and before all those expenses that come with, buying your own gear and maintaining your gear. I mean, this isn't great, but maybe the cost of living is cheap in North Dakota. I don't know. If anyone lives in North Dakota, let me know what you think. So just from these very few openings that we can see on Indeed right now, it doesn't look like photography is making anybody rich, at least not the people that are working for companies as a photographer. Perhaps there are other companies that pay a lot. They're just not listing those salaries on Indeed right now. And another thing I noticed is that a lot of these jobs are asking photographers to be able to do video as well. And, the ability to do both is not making the pay go up. It's, still in that same range that we've been seeing. Also, according to the US labor statistics, there were 125,000 photographer job openings in the year 2014, which is like the most recent statistics I could find. And they were offering an average annual pay of $30,000, which is terrible. Again, perhaps I'm biased because I live in an expensive city. So if you're a freelancer, this could all be totally different, and it could also be totally different depending on what you personally specialize in. I've definitely met a lot of photographers actually who are totally living it up, who, have pretty expensive lifestyles and who do not come across as struggling photographers at all. One photographer I know, she's always traveling all over the United States and photographing like red carpet events, and she seems to be doing really well for herself. But again, this all depends on you. If, for example, you are a wedding photographer and you charge several $1,000s per wedding and you're booked every single weekend of the entire year, then you can easily be making a 6-figure salary. Or if you're an event photographer and you have an event every night of the week, let's say you do 5 events a week and each event takes several hours, you might also be doing really well and perhaps even in the 6-figure mark. But if you're a photographer who, can't seem to find that many gigs, and the gigs that you do get are not paying you very well, then it will be easy for you to fall below that minimum wage line when you do the math at the end of the year. So that's why nobody can really tell you how much the average photographer will make, and these averages that I'm finding online they're just not representative of photographers in general, in my opinion. We live in changing times and in competitive times. We live in a time where everybody has a decent camera in their hand, and a lot of photographers are just doing it, as a hobby or on the side, and they're undercharging, which makes it harder for other photographers. So what can you do to make photography more sustainable for you? Well, there's actually some pretty great advice in this blog post I read by a guy named Eric Kim, who makes more than $200,000 per year from photography. Eric states that he actually makes the majority of his income from teaching photography workshops, not from actually physically taking photos. Of course, he also runs this blog, which he says is very successful, and brings in money through Amazon affiliate links and selling his own products on the blog. You only have a limited amount of time in your life. There's only so much time that you can trade for money. So to become a higher paid photographer, one that makes more than the supposed national average, you might want to think about how you can bring in some extra income for yourself through photography without actually going out and shooting. That might mean selling the photos that you already have as prints or on stock photography platforms, creating a blog with affiliate links, which can also just be part of your website, and teaching photographies to others either online or in person by holding workshops. So how much do photographers make? That number is up to you. But I believe that with the passion, the dedication, the creativity, and the willingness to adapt to changing times, you can definitely bring yourself to the six-figure mark. So why did I make this video if there's no numerical answer to it? Well, simple. It is actually one of the most searched for topics on YouTube, and that just shows me that there are so many people trying to find an answer to this question. And the answer is up to you. Photography can be your side hustle, it can be a minimum wage job, or it can be a lucrative six-figure business if you have the right mindset and the right approach, and you can really figure out ways to get yourself, that business. So definitely subscribe to this channel so that you can learn more about how to make money with your photography. The next video that I've got coming out is actually about different ways that you can set up passive income streams for your photography business. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a good one. Hit the like button if you liked this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to stay tuned for more photography related content. And if you want to know what to watch next, here's a good option for you. This video is all about how I make money doing photo shoots for small businesses. There are literally opportunities everywhere, like probably right on your doorstep and you don't even know about it. And a lot of my personal photography income actually comes from creating social media photos for different businesses in the area that I live in. So check it out. Take care.